Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and this is Force Ghost Rob. Hi, Force Ghost Rob. And this one's not about spaceships. The last one was about spaceships. The last Indiana Jones movie, and the new one is about the new Indiana Jones movies. No, that was just
all about voodoo.
Second one, first in order. Second one released.
Is it about sleeping with the same women your dad slept with?
No, that's the third one.
Oh, okay. Is it about sleeping with your underage teachers' assistants, daughters?
No, that was just in the story group meeting. So that's
okay.
Yeah. Right. Show will never get pushed.
Is the one about the virginal princess? No, it's another story group.
That's a different one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yesterday, after all of this time, I finally saw the movie. And I assumed you're here, so I assume you saw the movie too, Rob. And
we were supposed to watch this. I thought we were just going to go off. When we spoiled it, I thought.
Did you see Flash again?
Maybe if they had made a Gotham City that actually looked like Burton's Gotham City, I would have seen the Flash again.
There you go.
No.
Yeah.
No, so, I saw the movie.
Yeah. So like up front, like if you've been following the show, we've been talking about the rumors about the movie for a while now and what was going on with it. And I've watched like every single review. And the thing I will say is, for up front, all of the big gripes that existed for the movie were answered in the film. It's just that people were like writing their hot takes for Twitter instead of watching the movie, like if you have an argument, let's say Shaw is Indy's best friend. Where was he in the other movies? They literally start the movie with that opening and they show you how Shaw sees himself as Indy's best friend. Now, if you and I spent a day with Indiana Jones, we would probably name our children after him. But Indiana Jones spending a day with you doesn't mean you're his best friend and that you're anything at all because he's fucking Indiana Jones, right? But so anyways, though, there was just like a lot of stuff like that I kept hearing, like Sala showing up. The rumor on that was like, oh, it's terrible. He just shows up out of nowhere. And like when you watch the fucking movie, Indy's literally out of phone booth. They don't bother having Indy pick up, hello, Sala, can you come and get me? Like Sala doesn't just drop out of the sky like Batman from nowhere. Like he's literally out of phone booth. Like there was stuff that I saw like being bitched about since cons that I'm like, no, okay. But now my actual
everyone thinks that they're in a real world version of CinemaSins, Jason. So the problem with watching a bunch of YouTube videos that sit around going, gotcha. Gotcha. I figured you missed that. As an artist, I experience this all the time. Like if I draw a pinup that has, I don't know, literally 50 characters on there, inevitably the first or second comment will be, you forgot blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, I didn't. I only had room for 50 fucking people.
Right. And that's why I always say, and I'm guilty of not following this just as much as anyone, but things need to be critiqued by what's in the films, not what should have been or could have been, but what's there instead. Like that's like a whole different discussion from a critique, in my opinion. Is that like, you know what I mean? It's like, what did they put in the movie itself? And so anyways, like up front, I don't believe in tens. I had this whole discussion with my friend Mark on Twitter last night. I don't believe anything is perfect. So I don't believe anything should get a 10. I think that's a cop-out. I don't agree with it. But if you are a person who agrees with it and will not see eye to eye with me on this, then I'm going to say the movie's a 7.5. If you disagree, it's an 8.5. About the 10 thing, it's an 8.5. And do I think 8.5 is a little high? I do. I wouldn't give it an 8.5 personally. And like my takeaway from about the movie is I love the movie. I think it's a worthy Indiana Jones film. I don't think it has low lows, but I also don't think it has high highs. It's very tempered and everything is like relative. So it's not a dynamic movie in that sense, that it's almost always going at about 70% on. And somebody on Twitter said, oh, that's only a C. I'm like, no, contraire, mon frere. I would say most movies are like a 4 or 5. Like your average movie that you just go see is like a 4. Your average movie that you see never think about again, it's like a 4. And that's why I also say a 10 is unobtainable. And that's why, like, Star Wars, my favorite movie of all time. I don't need to prove how much I love Star Wars. That shit's a 9 because you can't, because it's not perfect.
I disagree
Nothing
with
is.
that.
Yeah, I know you do, but once again, there is no such thing as perfect. It's completely a subjective thing.
I don't know.
It would
Seven Samurai. It's pretty much perfect.
Critical cranky man I have ever met in my whole entire life. And so you actually
Seven
think
Samurai is like a perfect film, dude. I've
so
watched it a zillion times.
You're telling me though, you couldn't watch Seven Samurai like 2 more times and find something that was just a little less than perfect?
No.
Something else that is off?
No, it's brilliant. I don't even know how they did some shit.
Yeah,
no, man. They controlled the weather in 1955, man.
Look, Rob,
you know how hard that is?
I'm not saying there's not things that are not close to perfect, but nothing's perfect. And then if a movie's perfect, then we can be perfect. I think we would.
And I'll tell you why it inches into that 10 territory, because it set up a premise that no one's taught. I mean, that team premise in that version of it is the best. It's so perfect. You don't get a better team setup than the Seven Samurai. So whatever, it's a different conversation.
But yeah,
so you give it a 7. Interesting.
I give it a 7, and if you don't, I give it like a 7.5. And if you like I said, and if you disagree with that, and you think 10 is obtainable, then I would have to go up.
Well, not for
higher.
This film.
But I would have to give it. No, I mean I'm sorry, but I have a feeling you and I tonight are going to fight about how The Mummy's good and this is shit. And I'm like, The Mummy wishes it was this. The Mummy is the fucking girl who put on too much makeup and got some attention for a night. This right here,
The Mummy's probably going to make more money than this movie, but we'll see. I'm not
fucking Brendan Fraser's going to have a fucking heart attack before Harrison Ford.
Oscar. He won an
Oscar. I know, because by getting really
and
fat.
Isn't that our dream, Jason? Wouldn't you, if you right now, if you and I knew getting fat would win us an Oscar, we would have fucking gone after that 30 years ago.
Yeah, big time.
I didn't know. He attained the impossible. You know, like he did the opposite of fat. He did, instead of fat shame, he did fat fame. Like that. I think I just coined that.
Fat fame. But no,
I made up a new word.
So what would you without reviewing the whole film, but just like some people who just want to know without getting into the spoilers of it or whatever, which we're going to do in 1 minute, but like what would you give it?
I would have given it a 7.
Okay.
But there's one supremely glaring problem for this thing that nails it probably down to a 5 for me.
A 5? And I know I'm being. That's not a 5. And I'm going to tell. Not a 5, really? Okay.
For me.
Let me hear you out. Yeah.
For me, and I'm going to tell you why. The CGI deepfake Harrison Ford does not work, and it not just the CGI.
Yeah.
The voice work, the way he blends with other, it just doesn't work. And to me, that is the exact thing Lucas would have done that would have been the thing Lucas hung the whole film on if he were doing it. You know what I mean? It is such a brilliant little magic trick that had it worked, I'd probably see this movie 9 times in the theater just to stare at it.
You want to know?
But because it hold on, I'll let you talk. Just because it did not work, I was sitting there in the beginning of the movie like, I'm trying not to look at him and when he would talk, like inside his mouth it looks wrong. I was right up on the screen, man. So I saw it. I got really close on this. So and they did everything they could with the environment and the lighting, the cinematography, the weather to make it work. And they even rolled out a deep fake Mads Mikkelsen, not Nazi Mikkelsen,
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah.
So that magic trick is
Rob had a stroke. Give him a break.
And had it just been left in the beginning of the film, I could see the argument that I'm being harsh. But then they do it again. They go back to another CGI.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford later on, and I'm just like, this I can't take. I can't take it.
I think where I am fundamentally differing with the reviews that we heard of this movie since Cannes was about how the opening of the movie was just so magical and Indiana Jones perfect. Honestly, I felt like the opening of the film is the part I could not watch again. And starting in 1969, that's when the movie becomes a film for me. The first stuff,
right? When a human shows up on the camera.
Even no. Number one, I agree with you. The CGI on the deep fake on Ford didn't work. It didn't look good. They didn't use AI or anything for the voice, so it's an old man's voice coming out of the 40, and that doesn't work. It doesn't even look as good as Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian season 2. I think it was The Mandalorian
when
season 2.
How about this? The voice alone, when you compared to what Sigourney Weaver, she just made a younger voice. There's no AI work either. She
Yeah.
just acted
And
that one out when she played a
okay,
14-year-old.
it's different for an 80-year-old man and a woman though. That octaves and
She's
stuff
in
like
her
that.
pushing 70s.
Yeah,
It's pretty
I
close.
know.
And
I
they
no,
all
but no,
smoked, and
but
so
I'm
she
gonna
could have
say
had a raspy voice.
men and women, I think it's a little bit different.
I don't know. I watched the
No,
entire
but it
season
doesn't it doesn't matter, Rob. It doesn't matter because they should have
what
taken
the
Ford's
poker face.
voice.
She couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, she could. She did the ADR for Ford on this movie, I think. But
I would love to see that. The other thing for me,
yeah,
and this is so that probably knocked it down to a 6. The other thing is, I just didn't see, and this is a problem I've noticed. I noticed David Coep is in the story credits, right?
Yeah.
And Coep has been really bad with trying to create sequences that pay off in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of his sequences he's ever come up with, Jurassic Park being the best of them, the worst being Lost World and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, right? And to be honest, let's be honest, half the bits in the first Mission Impossible movie don't really pay off either. They sort of end. Like when Ethan Hunt blows up a fish tank and runs out. Like it is, and there's a lot of this they just stop. They don't really go look at the way sequences begin and finish in Temple of Doom. Even the Club Obi-Wan bit, right? You know what I mean? Like the mind.
It's hard to say if like who did what on this stuff. Kasdan, didn't get a story credit. I had a scoop. I knew about the train very early on, like probably the first version of the train. And I was calling it like a Nazi gold train. That's just kind of what they were referring to it as. And Kasdan came out and he confirmed, yeah, I did write Indiana Jones, but there was no train in mine. So I'm guessing they didn't use anything from his, but Cope did get a credit. So was it just based off of the Antikythera, or was it, who knows? It could have been full on gags. Like Darabont was mad at Lucas for the ants because the ants were in his script. And but they rewrote it, but
But look, that all being said, dude, look, how do I say this? I can't really watch The Flash again because I can't stand looking at them babies. You understand what I mean? I got the Michael Keaton clips, and had Michael Keaton been a deep fake, Laser Keaton, call him Laser Keaton, I wouldn't be able to watch that either. Like they haven't nailed it yet,
No, and so Tyrant says haven't seen it, but have heard it's far worse than Tarkin Luke. No, so Tarkin is a CGI puppet man, and Luke is a deep fake in season 2. The deep fake of Luke in season 2 looks better than most of the stuff that we've seen. And I was of the opinion that if they had nailed it, they should have just done the whole thing in World War II. And like with young Indy, why even go to old Indy and tell the story if you don't have to? Like, why? That's not ideal. Nobody, it's just reality that isn't. But if you could break reality with that CGI, then why wouldn't you just make an Indiana Jones film?
Given that CGI didn't work, they were better off doing one of two things: cutting it, or if they were going to do it, casting in Gruber, or for the love of God, Han Solo. You know what I mean? Just making a gimmick, making it like, hey, look, at least
you don't go buy a house though, and then be like, oh, I bought a house and now I don't like it here on Christmas, so I'm just gonna throw the house away. It was just they had to go in, they had to do it, and then they had to live with it. That's just the way. That's just what it is on that. They spend a lot of money on that.
It's the first like 15 minutes of the movie, man.
It's like the first half hour of the movie, actually.
Yeah, it goes on. Yeah. It's not an insubstantial amount of film, dude. Like,
it's not like I said, and that sequence, like altogether, I didn't think was that tight. Actually, I didn't think it was like I enjoyed it. I had a good time. But it wasn't
like the train in Last Crusade.
It wasn't like the opening of Temple of Doom. It was literally probably my least favorite opening. But once we get out of there and we get to like 1969 and we get to the movie, like I said, the movie is super fucking consistent. Like after that, for the most part, and I gotta say, like Indiana Jones movies, for some reason, I don't know why, people remember them as having the best visual effects of all time, and they just don't.
No, the first one was intentionally done on a budget.
It's just not true.
Money.
Yeah, and so it's
which is actually the weirder part when you think about when you spend $295 million on this one, and the whole point of doing these films in the first place was for him to work with a smaller budget. how it's now turned into like bigger than Star Wars budgets, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that stuff is, whatever. As far as reviewing the film, don't care about what they spent, just what it is. You know what I mean? Like for now, I'm gonna bitch about how much they spent on it for the next like 2 years when the next Star Wars movie comes out and it's about 30 million short of what it needed to be great. That's when I'll continue to bitch about it probably. But on this one right here, like I
Lucas
said,
talked about money so much. I figure it's
I felt yeah, I felt like I felt like the premise of Indiana Jones is down and out. His son has died. He's in the dumps. His life is ending. His career is over. Like all of these things were super brave choices. And so the bravery is in the premise. But once we get into the film, it's not very brave. Indiana Jones is having a drink at the bar a few times. There's a couple of bar sequences with drinks, right? But Indy's not a drunk. Indy's not
he
like
puts it in his coffee in the morning.
Yeah. To absolutely zero consequence.
And at the end of the movie, Marion says there's no food in the house, so we're left to think he's an alcoholic. They just didn't want to commit to it.
And that's what I'm saying. In the premise of Indy's now an old drunk and life is shit is brave. The execution is not brave.
Right.
And that's sort of like where, like in the movie itself, as I live with this movie and it just becomes the fifth Indiana Jones movie that I watch when I watch them in order every single time. It's going to grow on me, and and as you live with that, you'll start to feel the weight if you watch them how I do. But right now, on a one viewing of it, just reviewing the one viewing, that right there is not very dark. Actually, in actuality, not very deep. And Brad's here.
For me, Jason.
Yeah.
This film reminds me of. You remember when old Christopher Reeve fell off a horse and basically ended his life, slowly over a period of several years?
You're talking about that one. What was that horse's name? Right. Was it Zod?
Yeah, what if it was?
That'd be badass. That'd be hilarious.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine if that had never happened, right? Mm-hmm. Christopher Reeve lived on. He got to be in a movie called Superman Returns, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This really reminds me of the tone of Superman Returns, but rather of like a guy coming back and everything's gone. It's depressing. He's kind of like fixated on it.
When he was a computer man at the start, he still looked better than the computer man that Christopher Reeve was in Flash. Gotta give him that. Give him it. Give him the one. That's his one win.
You got me there. You got me there. But this really did like. And I understand why people who watch this 10 years from now, same with Superman Returns, will go, well, I actually really like. I get why. It's not. I wasn't ever like looking at my watch when someone talked and I was like, oh, I can't wait till I can get out of here. It's not like that. It's just that there are things in Indiana, even if he's older, I just feel like the person probably to hit the high adventure for this sort of stuff might be like Brad Bird. Because if you look at the way he wrote sequences in Incredibles or Ghost Protocol, which you never saw, I don't think, the man understands escalation and then like having a goal and then getting there by your second act and then moving the goalpost.
By your lonesome.
Yeah. But this one drags out the goal honestly, I feel like they could have gone back in time by the middle of the film, and then they're stuck in trying to stop the plot. It's like, now I gotta save Hitler. I'm not saving Hitler. Like, how fucked up would that be, right? I need Justice to save Hitler. Like, there's that, but it doesn't. It drags it out until it gives you this point, and I get all that. I just don't think like Mangold is like because he kind of did the final polish on this. I feel like they're just. He's good at like a long drama that has a one note bit and he just like harps on it, Yeah. But other than that, man, like I thought the photography was beautiful. The set design was perfect, especially the Tangier. So that was the one I was worried about when they go back to like the Casablanca set.
It could have looked Disney. It could have looked Disney Plus, and it could have looked Disney Plus.
It could have looked like the Aladdin room at fucking Disneyland.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
and I think if you guys haven't watched it, you really should go back and look at the temple in King Crystal Skull and how childish it looks compared to when they go here, right? Like you're actually, like, even though it's a set, it's wet, it feels real. There's just totally different, So, almost Nolan-esque in some of like the water shots with the boats and stuff. You know, so like they're you know, and none of their performances are horrible or bad or annoying. You know, like you're not like, oh, this fucking dude, oh, that
No,
fucking dude.
everybody's. I actually thought the cast was perfect. I don't
Right.
blame. There's nothing about the cast that I would blame anything on. It's even funny
Right.
because all of the chuds that are really mad because Indiana Jones is in a movie with a woman because they're so fucking men that men don't hang out with women, even though
But
Indiana Jones is always with a woman. No, but she was like not. There was absolutely, truly nothing to get fucking mad about with her.
no. I just think the idea they went with was someone who was sort of like an Indiana. She's a scoundrel, right? She's a rogue, and I'm
She's
like,
Temple of Doom Indy, 100%.
I
Like
get it.
down to the
I think
sidekick.
though,
Yeah.
I think you only do that if you plan on using her for another film. To introduce that type of character in this film, it
Okay.
feels more like it should have been a character who, and hear me out on this,
Mm-hmm.
like if her dad, her dad sees himself as Indy's best friend in the way that Watson sees Sherlock Holmes as his best friend, but Sherlock Holmes doesn't really see anybody as friends, you know, like in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So had Toby Jones grown up writing a bunch of pulp novels called Indiana Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he put all those little indie adventures into, and, you know, and this chick, you know, grew up reading those books, or she writes them and never went on an adventure, you know what I mean? And wants to like, her dad's last book was based on a real thing that him and her dad did, you know, Indy did, and wanted to complete that. Like never getting out the books and going on an adventure
Mm-hmm.
would be the thing. Her first adventure and his last coinciding at the same time makes the most sense. But this is like, it's introducing a lot of character traits
Mm-hmm.
that don't help the plot, they don't hurt the plot. They just sort of like, I don't, you never really go, am I supposed to like this person or not like this person? Like
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know, you know.
no, that was like what Indy. What I took it as is that Indy is literally on an adventure with himself, not through time, but she is him. She is the next generation of him. It's his narrative. We're following him the whole time. But like when they're on that thing climbing up, and she's like, "Why are you so slow?" That's when
Because he's
he's like,
81 fucking years old. No
right.
shit. But here's the thing.
And in
She
this
does at
movie,
the end of the movie.
he would be 69 or 70 years old in this movie. But yeah, and
But at the end of this movie, she doesn't learn that things belong in a
so
museum or shit like that. Did Teddy? You think Teddy's
well,
gonna go back to like not hawking shit? Like no one really learned a lesson.
okay.
You know?
Yeah, I have a couple of I have like a couple of like various like gripes about the film, and it's sort of like I don't think it's lazy. It does a thing that's oftentimes remarkably well done, where it's not going to treat you like you're a moron. Okay. It's not going to
Right.
give you a history lesson every time it drops like Poland or something. You fucking should know this. And if you
I agree with
don't,
that.
Wikipedia,
I'm
fucking
of
look it
that
up.
mindset.
And
of that mindset.
and so and that's where like Sala and the phone booth is right there. Sala doesn't just magically come out of nowhere like Batman. There's a film. There were context clues in the visual language of the film that oftentimes make things make sense.
I know. But Jason,
But
remember,
in this,
some people thought in 1989 that the opening of the movie, that kid was Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You remember that? You remember that bullshit?
It's because they were, and then Batman shows up 1 second later, and then they should have figured it out.
They were confused even then. So was that a prequel? Would he learn from another bat? Like people were doing that, Jason. I'm not making it up.
But the point I'm trying to make here is that there are things like in the subtext of the movie as it goes on. Like at the end, I had a question from a comment question, a discussion. I didn't get to it, but from Robert St. Clair. That is, I think, the kind of thing that I am still wondering on one viewing. Do you think Helena sort of knew what was going to happen based on memorizing her dad's journals and piecing it together like Indy along the way, which is why she was so dead set on getting him back on the end? She noticed the wings on the tomb. And I think this is probably even more details if we put it back on Disney Plus. Also, she was similar to the character like Short Round in the sense of being a kid from his past. He was close to them, had an endearing nickname for her. She clearly looked up to him and emulated his lifestyle. So I really thought it played into Indy's history of having a hard time dealing with. And that's the kind of stuff. Like there's stuff in the performance.
Yeah, but she was legitimately auctioning that thing off. She wasn't waiting for Indy to show up.
When we get to well, but that's where we're gonna go. Is when we get to the second flashback, which I don't agree with doing it. I think that broke the mold of the film series on the fifth one. Why did you do it there? But they fucking did it, and I did like how it faded into their faces, like on the plane shots and stuff like that. There was some stuff that was,
plane stuff
but
I thought was unique and really good. Yeah.
But point being is, it's when they're like, Indy doesn't even care about Shaw. Indy is, if you watch the performance, his heart is broken by his behavior in front of his daughter, and seeing her hurt. He can't handle it. He doesn't have the emotional maturity to deal with that shit. And that's when he walks out of their lives and doesn't fucking come back. And that's like a character flaw. And it was really smart that they said, no, that's who the man is. And they applied it to.
Weird. Hold on, Jason. I'll add you. There you go.
Why did it take me out? I don't know. It was super weird. It was super smart that they went and did it that way. Okay, it was super smart that they kept to the character as he was, emotionally, how he responds to things. And then they have a really smart conversation. They say, "What's a goddaughter anyway? Like what the fuck am I to you?" But then it comes around and it's like, well, my dad thought it was important enough that I'm your goddaughter. And then that's when he needs to be like, that's when he realizes, like, I kind of need to fucking pony up. And then that's when she has confronted the fact that she isn't Temple of Doom Indy exactly. And it doesn't mean that she steps out of it like 100%. But the problem is, Rob, in my opinion, when we get to the very, very end of the thing, a bunch of the staff in Indy's college are killed. Indiana Jones has now retired. And she has a PhD. It's right there. It's fucking right there. And they didn't want to commit. They didn't want to commit because they don't know what they're going to do with it, if anything ever, and they don't want to commit to it. So instead,
but I told you that
the
that's
character's
why
arc,
they invented. That's why they invented a character that has a ton of roguelike. I'm like, she should be a character who's starting out, but they made her super capable, so she's just like Indy Prime without. It's a character. Again, the studio, much with the Star Wars sequels, wants a character who's everything, but they don't want to commit to any one thing.
They don't want the next movie to have to live up to some fucking one moment.
And you have to. Your job as a creative is to make decisions and live with them, man. You have to fucking commit.
No,
and the studio,
right there,
whether it's Kathleen Kennedy or anyone else, dude, I don't know, but this studio is consistent with this problem.
Yeah, no,
and it's creeped into I thought Mando was really consistent in the beginning, and now it's turned into, I don't know, I guess the fucking dude's whatever they want it to be now.
And I'm cool with. I mean, they should have done it because it would have literally given us the capstone to the arc if there's never anything else ever again. And if you don't like that, in the next movie, you know what they did? They just fired her ass because she's fucking.
My way around it was had it been something where her dad was writing all these pulp novels about Indy's adventures, and even ones that were made up, right? He'd go, that wasn't real. This one, she could have committed all those stories to her memorizing all those stories. She'd have all these adventures in her head, but she never lived any. But the problem is they do this. She remember her dad journal, but it's not. It's a thing that isn't used.
I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is that if they wanted to call back to Last Crusade between Indy and his father, they even had the moment where she's like, would you go after somebody else's obsession? And you're like, he did. And you're like, yeah. So the answer is yes. So what does that tell us? Why the fuck did Shaw die? How was losing Toby Jones from this movie like a smart call? And I love this. I thought the short round kid was funny. That was fine. He's not a short round, but he was fine. I don't see any fucking problem with him. I don't dislike him at all. But I would have probably lost the kid, or I would have added,
because he's not there in the beginning. He doesn't go with her to New York. Where was he in that sequence?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like they're not together the whole fucking time. Like it's just odd, dude. I don't understand. It would have been one thing if Teddy was Antonio Banderas's kid, and he was the only one left on the boat.
That's what we assumed. Remember the first time we ever saw him was on a truck. Was that even in the movie?
Right. I don't think so.
Huh. Yeah, remember we had the pictures of them on the truck. I wonder if he started as Antonio Banderas's kid and they were like, kind of like this, and changed the movie around for that.
And Antonio Banderas, if you didn't look, you would have thought he was Sala at some points too, right? Like he had a little, he looked a little Sala like. It's confused for people who don't know the story. You could be confused just looking, but whatever.
Right.
So, you know, like I said, there's things I like when Harrison Ford explains what he would do going back in time, saving his kid. That's a fantastic bit of performance work from him right there. You know, like Harrison Ford sold that. When they're escaping and she on the boat and she's celebrating,
right?
And Indy goes, "My friend was murdered." Like Indy's never. Like, in all the movies, you sort of just people die, you move on. But he's at a point in his life where he can't do that anymore. You know,
he's lost too much to where it matters when he loses somebody to him. Yeah.
So like and then I was thinking about this today, right? I haven't listened to any reviews. I'm just thinking on my own. I got too much work to do. But I was like, all right. So they made a situation where they're like, it's a closed loop. They didn't.
It's a paradox, right?
It's a So literally, his friends died for nothing. Those Nazis were gonna kill themselves. They go through the you know what I mean? Like, and they're gonna die back in time.
Question: did Archimedes set that up knowing that they would come with their war machines?
No, he just didn't know the continental drift. No, he just didn't understand continental drift. So he just made that knowing one day there would be something, but he didn't do that to time it up. It just coincidentally, arrived right at the spot where he was at the same time, which that's a whole nother issue, right? Like, it's a big coincidence. I mean, look, these are Republic serials, so I get, you know, like, I get the whole coincidence. Like when Teddy stumbles into the bad guys, I'm like, that's whatever. I don't care. But you're like, in a third act, you don't want to be thinking too much about the mechanics of the thing. You want to be experiencing the big reveal, right?
Yeah.
At that point. Like the bridge scene in Temple of Doom. You don't want to be thinking that through. You're experiencing it. The same with Indy going through the trials in the Last Crusade. You want to be experiencing it. Same with the Nazis being, you know, melted by the Ark. That's an experience moment. And so like
let's like hit that for a second. Raiders guy looks at the Ark, his face melts into a wax candle. Temple of Doom got the bridge sequence with the Gators. Last Crusade, guy drinks from the wrong cup, turns into the fucking cover of an Iron Maiden record.
He does.
And then in this one, a plane crash? Fuck you, Disney. That was lame. That was one of the worst calls in the film. Was not give like realistically.
Look, that's why
if it was George Lucas and Spielberg, he would have tried to have run towards like a time fucking prism thing, and he would have been ripped to 15 different points in time and torn apart, and it would have been metal as fuck. And I was like, come on, that's the one thing where I'm like, yeah, like that's that was like Jason. I was like, really, just the plane crash on that one, huh? Okay.
That's why I bring up Superman Returns. Because what did he do at the end of the movie? Lifted a rock.
Nobody remembers.
Got strong. You know what I mean? Like nothing really. You know, nothing happened. He just decided to be Superman. Like that's it. You know, and it's like that's real. Look, man, this movie's got to make how much money? You're really banking this all on that? You know, it would be like. Had Fox cut the Death Star trench run at the end of fucking Star Wars, and it just ends when they return the princess. To be perfectly honest with you, which is something Lucas had feared.
The like conversations in the film, like with the scene, there's like a lot in the performances, like where when he's talking about the death of Mutt and like what he would have done and stuff like that, and like you see like how they like speak to each other and stuff. That stuff does play into the end of the film, like in like very important ways, and it's sort of maybe needed to be a little bit bolder on some of that stuff. I do appreciate the subtleties of the performance. I think the actors did their work, but the script could have been a little more, like honestly, a little more for the kids in the back of the class. Maybe could have been a little bit.
If it was like, I know you grade the film that is there or not there. Well, whatever. I'm gonna fucking tell you. Like they put a film out, and I'm like, look, man, had they gone back in time and stopped the Hitler thing, and then Indy uses that thing to try to go back to save his kid, but then Marion goes, we have to let, you know what I mean? Like if there was like another thing to that, you know?
Oh, what if
like,
he went back in time to save his kid, and then the kid
the reason why
Shia
Mutt died,
LaBeouf, and he saw that, and he was like, "Oh
no!"
no!"
Or the reason why Mutt died is he was like Forrest Gump, only he died and saved 50, 100 other fucking dudes, or some shit. I don't know. Like they don't know. They don't know. They just put these things out there, and then the movie. No man, the ending is what. This is why I got real annoyed. I'm like, this movie, you're ending on what? They get laid? I don't know what this is, and then the Grogu, what? the circle thing that they did at the end of Mando season 3, the fucking Buster Keaton Mickey Mouse, right? What is that
from the kid? Oh, yeah. that was better here than Mando, I thought.
But it's the same thing, man. Like it's like
from the kid. Yeah.
Like I was listening to I was listening to the Geek Buddies, Rook and them, right? And Matt Vogel's he's a writer, producer, showrunner, or whatever. And so he was working with Patton Oswalt when Crystal Skull came out, right? Mm-hmm. And he was saying that, hey man, I was at breakfast with Patton Oswalt when that movie came out, and he goes, Patton Oswalt hated the Crystal Skull, and he goes, and Patton Oswalt, pretend I'm Patton Oswalt. So Patton goes, he goes, let me tell you why this sucks, right? I'll explain it to you. End of Raiders of the Lost Ark, you see Marion and Indy, and they walk away, and the Ark goes into that giant warehouse full of all that stuff. Like, oh, that's awesome. And the Temple of Doom. You know, they bring back all the kids. They celebrate. He kisses the blonde. Right. The third one, they ride off into the sunset. The fourth one, they get married. Yay! You know, one of these things doesn't fit. This one's even like I think he gets laid. Like I don't know.
No, they go
off for ice cream.
They're gonna reconcile. They're gonna be.
I hear you, but she's not.
And no, well, a couple of things. Really Number one, Patton Oswalt, love him. He's a fucking hilarious dude, 100%. But if you take his criticisms of Star Wars and then you see them through to fruition, you get The Force Awakens.
I'm not using him to justify my opinion.
I know. But that is the ultimate irony of it.
Like the sequences, they're anticlimactic and tends to just end. I'm not saying like the performance and like him and Marion was bad. Although it is weird, she's wearing the same shirt from Raiders. But coincidence. Whatever, it's a movie. Like, she's gotta wear something
on the fridge. You mean on the fridge? They had that moment for a picture that we don't remember. Yeah,
the same one tailored to her 1969 body. But okay.
No. I'm saying on the fridge is like a headshot from the movie, from the other movie, or
from
like
the movie, and she's wearing the same outfit from the headshot, which is.
But she's kind of doing like I thought she kind of had like a dashiki version, like a 1960s fucking version of it, but I didn't look at it close enough.
Would have been great if she had a fro. Like right. Marion, what happened? She's like, I joined the Black Panthers, Indy. I joined the Lebanese Army Front, whatever that shit was, right?
Yeah. She's like kidnapping rich girls and turning them into Colt.
Yeah, we got Patty Hearst in the trunk. Indy.
Patty Hearst, yeah.
I'm mad as hell. And I'm not gonna take it anymore, right? Like, yeah.
I mean, it's in terms of like the indie films outside of Last Crusade though, are the endings are always like Raiders though had the thing getting put in the warehouse and you're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? You can't really remake that. In actuality, you can't. That one's like
saying remake.
No, I know. And then in Temple of Doom, it's really like good in the sense that like he whips her, fucking pulls her to her. They're finally like gonna fuck, and that's what he got in that one. In that one, the reward was
But they hadn't kissed. The whole thing was they were trying to kiss and fuck the whole movie though.
Yeah,
that was
and that's what he was.
They even wrote a whole her being her thinking she's getting fucked and him trying to save her bit. There's a whole bit around that, so it plays. And the riding off in the sunset with Marcus's dumbass not being able to run a horse, like,
and then the third one they ride off into the sunset, and that's fucking a great ending. I mean, that's a classic ending for the genre piece. And then the
THX
fourth one though,
1138,
and the fourth one
THX,
they gave what people always wanted, and that was for Marion to be back, and then for them to like settle down. That was supposed to be like the send off to it, and then in this one Mutt dies. They reconcile. Also, is it a little bit weird that you have the headshot of your dad from The Last Crusade and the headshot of your wife, but I didn't see any Shia LaBeouf in this movie? I didn't see him anywhere.
He has a headshot in there. Yeah.
Does he? Okay.
He's in his military uniform. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Bro, I get right up on that screen. You know what I mean?
No, me too. There. No, I was looking. I was looking. I just missed it the first time. Yeah, all right, cool. So he isn't. Okay, yeah. So anyways, yeah, so like the very end of the movie with Helena and stuff like that right there, I was like, I thought it was a good ending in so much as Indy's not alone. He has families. His son is gone, but he is reconnected with his goddaughter. She's important to him. His world got really small. Antonio Banderas is dead, but now he has her. He's got the little guy. What's his name? Teddy. He got Teddy. Sala's there with his grandkids. Like he's got picture. He's got pictures of Mutt, and he's got his fucking kid back. He's got his family back, kind of. So like in terms of that as like a the storied ending, it's fine. It works. Now, what makes me mad, like, and this is something that we noticed structurally when reading spoilers, is that we are left to put together why Indy's not wanted, and Indy being wanted is one of the things that squeezes him into the adventure further.
Yeah.
And now it's not hard to figure out why he's not wanted. He's not wanted because Voller clearly turned on the United States, didn't take the meeting with the president. There was the people that were killed at the college. And then Helena is ultimately the witness who says, yes, they were trying to kill us. And, he didn't do it. It was Voller and stuff like that. So they know all of this, Mason, the fro lady, she's dead. Like, so it's very clear that so what happened. But in terms of the story, I do think we needed that one little minute of the top men showing up and just wrapping up and giving the old handshake kind of thing about like what happened in some like official sense or something. You know what I mean? Or even Helena doing it out at the end while her and Teddy go to get ice cream, And like I could have used to something just to like and that right there though is the fundamental evidence though about that character not supplanting Indiana Jones in any way. Like all of the real fragile dudes are out there doing their whole thing,
It's the last thing I'm interested in, like someone replacing a character no one apparently gave a shit about. Like, no offense, but I can see saying people that go, "Oh, he was my favorite character ever," and then I'm like, yeah, but if they weren't making a movie, you wouldn't be clamoring for another one. Like, you don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where were all these indie fans when Infernal Machine was on the N64? Where were they buying the game? Okay. Why weren't they buying the game? Where were the sales Jason?
No, Rob.
Where were
Rob,
that thing sold like 10,000 copies, Jason? Where were they?
No.
They're not real fans, right, Jason? Not like us.
They win.
Not like us. We're real fans.
Crystal Skull made $1 billion. They all
did make $1 billion. Made close to 8
with inflation adjusted. Something. It's $1 billion. No, it made 800 million. It made 790 million. If you adjust it for inflation, it's $1 billion movie.
No, if you just it's not the same thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It actually literally is exactly.
We have way more shit to watch, and you wouldn't even fucking go. It's harder to gain people's fucking.
Fine, Rob. It's an $800 million movie. There's a difference between 800 million and $1 billion. Okay, 200 million. Yeah. It's not really.
There is.
To me, my brain doesn't care. My brain sees it as the same. They were all there, Rob. Yeah. Now, are they there for this one? No, that's where your point stands, though. That's where you're right.
Oh. Is that however we get there, Jason, doesn't really matter.
Penny, did you like the movie? You liked it? You liked it? Yeah. She had a fun time watching it. She was doing a lot of this on the screen. I was like, she's really into it. She was like trying to punch the screen. Her brother says it's better than Flash. It's the second best movie of the year, he says, after Spider-Verse, he says.
Well, there you go.
He had a good time. He's never, I can't really get him to sit down and watch movies too much. So he's like in the theater, he's stuck. He can't do anything. He has to watch it. and he sat there and he loved it actually. Like he was really really into it. I in terms of the film itself, the soundtrack in the film is perfect. The soundtrack at home is okay. It's pretty good, but it's not
colossally disappointing.
No, the violin suite alone is worth
I know everything's melodic. He's got no more energy. He's just falling asleep when he's making this stuff.
No, when he does the Indiana Jones movies, they're always referential to real world music styles. They're not.
I listen to them all the time.
I know, and they're not.
Here's
what
the score should have sound like.
It referenced the era is what it did.
I'm gonna send some links, folks. This is the type
nobody's
of music
gonna,
I'm
don't,
looking for.
Don't click it. It's spam.
This is the type of stuff Rob's looking for.
Rob, nobody can see what you're doing. Nobody knows what this even is. Nobody can hear it on the podcast. Nobody knows what you're doing right now.
I'm putting the links in the chat.
You're just being crazy. You're just being crazy.
The links in the chat. The links are in the chat.
I know. But what is it, Rob? People listening on a podcast have no idea what you're fucking doing.
It's music.
Maniac.
What
is it? What is it?
What?
What music is it, Rob?
What?
You gotta
people
tell
on the podcast,
Rob,
they don't care.
I'm
when
on
we
the
get
show,
sponsors,
I don't even fucking know what this is right now.
They could come watch this shit live until we get podcast sponsors.
What is it, Rob?
You know, it doesn't matter.
I don't even know what it is.
It's the soundtrack to Medal of Honor by Michael Giacchino.
Are you serious? Medal of Honor right now? You're bringing Medal of Honor against Indiana Jones?
First
You're
game,
high. You're on
the first
crack.
game. You
You're
don't
on
remember.
Crack cocaine.
You don't remember the score, do you?
No, I got John Williams. I don't need Medal of Honor, a video game.
Yeah, well, go listen to that.
You are high right now.
No, I'm not.
Penny,
one of us knows the
drugs.
music. I'm listening to this music while we talk. So no, like I've had the music on in my earpiece the whole time, Jason. So I'm not.
So now you're mad John Williams is not Medal of Honor? That's the craziest thing you've ever said on the show.
I'm mad that they let a guy who's been falling asleep at the wheel for 20 years, man, on this music. So, it's a super snore fest. Sorry, snore fest.
You sound crazy right now. You sound like a crazy man.
No. To an uninformed
zealot,
I know. Sure.
I know. No, I know fucking music. I know my shit. And the thing about it is that the stuff that he did on the indie soundtracks is always referential to the theme of the film. If it's Last Crusade, then you get a lot of like Gregorian sort of styled music, shit like, fucking that kind of shit. On the last one, we have a theremin because we're doing the B grade. There's flying saucers around us, bro, kind of stuff. And on this one, he
I'd like some fucking adventure in my Indiana Jones music.
Yeah,
man.
He did some references to screwball comedies. He did some. I mean, and it's a very romantic theme. I mean, for her, I think that theme for her is great.
I want to get real romantic with my goddaughter.
Fucking dude, she's hot. You're crazy right now. You sound crazy. You're crazy again.
Now you're the most Lucas you've ever been on this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I mean, I only want her to be 32, 34 years old or something like that. Lucas is like, it'd be more interesting if she was 11. But that's from a story meeting with George Lucas where he thinks
I'm not up for the John Williams that conjured up the Kenobi theme and
that's not this. This is not Kenobi, Solo, and Galaxy's Edge. It's not him. I got
same little bit he learned in the prequels and over and over,
I mean, you do know who you're talking about, John Williams, right? I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah, I do.
That's like literally like all that he's ever done.
Someone should take him to Burning Man, wake him up.
I'm gonna say, Rob.
No, let's take Johnny
at 90.
to Fuddruckers.
He's not gonna go and reinvent his style all of a sudden, start fucking, like being Medal of Honor.
Hey, Danny Elfman's lifting weights. So, you know what I mean? Anything's possible. Have you seen that lately?
My buddy Mark just saw it. He said, "Fucking loved it, man." So just read
tell them to go again. They're going to need the money.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's good though. I mean, it's like I said, like people take criticism. Like if you're reviewing something, your job is to be critical. That's why I think if you're reviewing something, you give it a 10. That's not being critical at that point. That's just going, wow, I was really in love with this, And
Seven Samurai.
No. Okay. You know what? Okay, Rob. Seven Samurai's not a movie. It's a fucking epic, bro.
Akira Kurosawa impressed George Lucas so much, he invented a whole space trilogy off a Kurosawa film. All right? Let's not even try to hire Mishima Tafune.
Rob, the only thing that's a perfect 10 is a magazine.
Whatever.
It's called Perfect 10. That's it.
What?
There's no such thing as a perfect 10. There's just not. It just doesn't exist. Something could be 9.999999, but that little thing that keeps it from being a 10 for me.
I don't agree.
And but
I don't agree.
Anyways, where I'm going with this though is like
we didn't invent numbers to not use
my
them.
disappointment. My disappointment with the movie is in the fact that it is so competent and so safe that there's not like a moment where I'm like, oh my God, like I need to see this moment again. But there's also not a moment where I'm like, oh God, you shouldn't have necessarily have done that.
The deep fake should have been that. The whole opening should have been a brilliant magic trick with an excellent sequence that you do. That's the pod race that it opens up with, and you want to see Indiana Jones do that shit again, and then come back full form at the end. And he may be old, but he's still got the spirit.
That's where there's a certain brilliant boldness in the things that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg did that a whole generation of fucking guys who thought that they were Jay and Silent Bob, but totally aren't, took for granted.
Don't blame Kevin Smith for this.
I'm not blaming Kevin Smith.
He put no ticket into Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
No, Kevin Smith is Kevin Smith. You're not guy on the internet. I tried to do it. I know I'm not that guy. But what happened was they went and they really tried to fucking the Doomtown sequence in Crystal Skull. That is like a genius idea. That is such a fun fucking idea. And I just like looking at the Doomtown stuff and how it looks on screen and the visual style of it. This movie never like really has like a part in it that is like that. And it is kind of funny, like the stuff that isn't CGI, people are like hampering like some of the stuff like the like in the parade and stuff that's actually real. It's like that's actually real, you idiots.
We watched them film it.
Yeah, I do like
it's the color grading that gives it a otherworldly feel, though.
Yeah,
they added LUTs.
They made it look like that they tried to.
They had that bronze glow to it in post, and then people think it's all fake, and it isn't.
Yeah, but like I said, like it's but people think that like being critical means that like I'm saying it's bad or like it's awful, and it's still like that's still probably most likely going to be like in my top 3 movies of the year, most likely. I don't know what's going to happen in the next, what else is going to happen this year. But right now, like the 2 best movies I've seen in the theater this year are probably Spider-Verse and Indiana Jones. And I think it's important to like contextualize things on that same scale. Like when Last Crusade and Batman came out in the same summer, nothing beat those 2 for me. And it just happens to be
Ghostbusters 2 sure as shit didn't.
Oh, Ghostbusters 2 is the 3rd best movie of the year. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Also, surprisingly, when I thought the audience was at my screening was going to react negatively to when she knocks him out at the end of the film, my audience clapped. They were really, I was surprised. I was actually fucking surprised. I was like, I just thought that was going to be like, people are like, no. And they actually like reacted to it.
I hate to be that guy though, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one in the theater.
Were you?
One other person. There was one other person.
What time did you?
There was a 9 o'clock, but when I went into the theater, there was tons of people, but they were all watching fucking Elemental. Go figure.
You live in a weird town.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, I went to
wealthy
a
people.
3 o'clock, and I took a screenshot. I haven't done like a fucking count, and there's certain seats in the movie theaters that never sell, like the front rows, like the very very sides, like in this theater, like they just don't sell. It doesn't matter what's going on, but so it's like the core strip of it, And I would say it's probably about 75% full. This is like the first screening of the movie, so it's probably hardcore fans or people that are just off that day. And so there were people there. I think it's tracking to make about 75 million, I think, right now. So and which isn't
Hey, Avatar
great,
made that its
but it's
first
not.
weekend.
But it's not. Yeah, it's not like
back in the day.
it's not the end of the world necessarily.
It could do Avatar money.
Well, it won't. It
That way,
won't.
that's
But
CGI. I know.
no, I mean,
No.
but then ironically,
really, Jason,
Avatar's a shitty
I
movie that just
wanted-
has good CGI and makes a lot of money.
You can fucking hate all you want.
Mhm.
Like, I was looking forward to the magic to the young Indiana Jones dude, and they got the deep fake guy.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, deep fake guy with the fucking real budget and the time. This is gonna be. And after the Luke, I was excited for this. So when I see things in the comments where some of these yahoos are like, Rob just went in to hate it. Fuck off, dude. If I'm gonna not fuck, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm so fucking bro, dude. Like, I gotta fucking work 12 to 14 hours a day on top of the shit I gotta do around this house. Like, if I'm gonna hate it, I'm not going. Jason, you can't even get me to play Legend of Zelda. I got no fucking time for this shit. You know what I mean?
Well, that's because it's not Medal of Honor.
I went in with man's gold and thinking this deepfake shit's gonna be fucking amazing. You know, I liked what I saw in the trailer until and then when he started talking, I'm like, oh no, oh no, the voice, like this is crazy. Like had they got the guy, like the fucking Indiana Jones right at Disneyland doesn't sound like Harrison Ford, but that sounds more like Harrison Ford than this.
At the end of the day, it's just that's not a good viable answer when you really get down to it. Like Mando made us believe that it's possible, and it's possible, but it's not really, not right now.
No.
And
no.
Leia in Rogue One looks like dog shit. Tarkin looks good if you res it down a little bit, but mostly looks like kind of it's impressive, but it's still not, it's dog shit to reality. And fucking super difficult. I marvel at the ability at the level of what they've done, but it's not there. And when we move on to the what we saw in the Flash and so on, it's just we have enough examples now where we're not really there yet. We're trying, but we're not.
Jason, I've seen people, and I'm sure you've seen them too, where they try to deep fake Harrison Ford over River Phoenix, and I'm like, no. That kid pulled that off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need a fucking de-aged Harrison Ford over River Phoenix's face, man. Now I'm just staring at this fucking weird concoction with River Phoenix's voice coming out of it.
That thing. Well, and that was the same thing when they put Harrison Ford on to solo a Star Wars story and did that. It doesn't work. But what's funny about it is we are aware of this. And to some extent, like that's why Darth Vader was AI'd. That's why they did shit like that. And so I'm not sure why they kept the original voice there. And I could understand like the logic in the sense that Indy's always been gruff, but the fact of the matter is there's just like a different tone to the gruffness. In the 80s compared to now, it's much more gruff. And it plays a little bit weird. And but I'm like I said, I'm able to go along with the fantasy. I'm able to, you know what I mean? Like I get it. Like, I'm the landlord and you don't have your rent. You'll do anything to not lose your apartment. No, I'm good. But what my point is, I'm joking. I'm joking. I could go with the fantasy. I could go with the fantasy. And in the
is this why you were late today on the show?
A little bit. I was trying to think of a better idea for next time. No, but
okay.
No, what I'm saying is I can go with it being a cartoon. I could go with the fantasy, and I could have. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter because I didn't think that the opening sequence was actually like that well done. It didn't have. It wasn't that charming, and the opening sequences on the original 4 films are all very charming in the openings. And this 5th one,
one thing if like Indy had called in the raid and they were there to support him, you know what I mean? Like the Red Tail showed up or some shit like that, and it was like it was a sequence, you know what I mean? A bit with the crescendo, but it just sort of like we jump off the train and kind of mosey on up a hill. Like
was it a bad idea to have a CGI Harrison Ford and bring our brains to questioning authenticity and then have the artifact not be authentic that they're after. I don't know. Like, it's kind of, I was sort of like wondering about that. I was like, is this commenting on, is it? I don't know. It's really, is it just unfortunate? Because it feels like it's setting itself up to get dogged on almost with that one. But you know what I mean? But another thing is too, is like, I don't know if I like the character's relation to the Dial of Destiny itself. Like, when you get into Crystal Skull, him and Oxley still were both obsessed with it. We were obsessed with it, kind of thing. And there's still a little bit of like, okay, but like in this one, he kind of like moves on from it. He lets it go and his buddy does it. And then he's like brought into it. And then Helena seems like she reconnects with it. And that's the parts I prefer the best. But it does, at first, she is just trying to sell it for money. And it's like, and that inconsistency right there, like it shows that like it didn't mean a lot to her at first. And then she, I think, reconnects to her father a bit through Indy as kind of the way that the story unfolds. And then she begins to, then her relationship to it becomes more important. But I don't like that. I don't like there not being somebody like, and like, so then it ends up just hinging on the same. And the problem is with this being the fifth one, the, I guess, third Nazi one, the Nazi, it's just the same premise in that way. The Nazis can't get it because if the Nazis get it, then the ultimate power and Hitler will blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like they've done that part 3 times. So that's why it's like, that's the thing that's the same, but also what's not really giving it like any points for me on that
That's
front.
why,
but
I
had a really good, I had a good time
watching
watching the movie though at the same time. So it's like I can be critical of things without just saying everything's perfect because I like you. It's like, you know what I mean?
It's why I always felt that if you were going to tell an indie story in World War II,
Yeah.
you set it in the Asian Pacific because he already did the Nazis before the war, right? So then you set him in the fucking Asian Pacific was a horrific war, bro. You know what I mean? You put him on that the Indianapolis, right, with the Sharks and Quint. Wouldn't it be great if he had teamed up with young Quint, dude?
It's already set up that Indy's a spy.
There's some shit.
Indy's a spy in World War II. So Indy's everywhere. He could be anywhere. He could. I'm saying if they somehow magically make the CGI work and do another one someday, and they use young Harrison Ford in it. But he could be. Well, I considering where we're at technologically speaking, would you really discount that as being something that might happen down the road? That they don't buy Harrison Ford's likeness and his voice, and that if they don't do that, I don't know, man. Like I see that. I think that's where this is all going. I think, Harrison Ford will probably always be Indiana Jones, and I think it'll be a computer version of him. I think this stuff will eventually get better, but I'm really disappointed. I'm with you though, in a sense that I am really disappointed that the level of the deepfake CGI was very Tarkin in Rogue One. It didn't feel like it really stepped. It stepped
add
up.
Anything new.
It didn't further the medium whatsoever, and it did it.
And it's the thing that I know for a fact. If Lucas of 30 years ago are making this movie today, he would have hinged everything on. He would have been. We would have had endless videos, and man, we really did it. You know, look at that. We by hook or by crook, we're gonna,
if they were gonna do this would have, this would have been more innovative in the big picture. There would have been more of an investment in it, I think.
And it's just like it feels like it's just like a Marvel visual effects. It's just one of 3,000 things we're doing.
And
aren't you glad you got something?
But that's something else that I want to say too, is that it doesn't matter if it's Raiders, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, or Crystal Skull. All of the movies look like they were made in the year that they were made. There's some things that are very much a style in but that the DP does. I'll give it that. But they all look like it. And so when you make an Indiana Jones movie in 2022, 2023, 2021 to 2023, it's going to look like it was made today. And people today keep going, it looks like a Marvel show. It's because those are the only movies you watch with CGI in it. But yeah, that's basically what CGI looks like. That's what it looks like.
My argument. My argument.
I don't mean you, Rob. I mean, yeah. I read every review that hit Rotten Tomatoes. I read every single one.
If they wanted it to look exactly like 1982, they could have. But
and
it would
didn't.
require.
They didn't want.
But they didn't. That wasn't their goal.
That wasn't their goal.
But they could have. But that's not their goal.
Yeah.
I do think, Star Wars TV, low budget, should all look like it was on film from 1980,
from A New Hope,
1982. Yeah, I really think it should have that 77 to 80 fucking 81, 82 feel.
Yeah, if you're not going to drop the Rogue One, I mean the Andor cash on it, it should. I'm with you.
Yeah, because it solves a lot of visual, and it just takes you back to that spot. And you put the grain and all the other bullshit and the bloom and blah blah blah. The warm filters, they could get really close.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff, there are shots in Kill Bill that feel very 82, 81, 70s. You know what I mean? The way he shot that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Part of that's being on film makes a difference, So,
Robert, I read your thing that you sent me earlier on the show. I don't know if you heard it or not. But he says Helena had her doctorate and was writing her thesis on the dial as well, right? She was consumed by it, so she wasn't going to let the highest bidder keep it for long. And that's one of those questions where I think she's like Indiana. I kind of sounded like the kid from Temple of. I think the
foggy cold was gonna.
I think
I'm gonna get pancakes.
No, I think that she starts out honorable, like Indy. It belongs in a museum. Then she becomes Fortune and Glory, and we meet her, and so this movie is her Temple of Doom. And at the end of it, like she's trying to sell it, Indy's like, no, that shit's going in a museum. And I think that it, like, in a way, like that's sort of the voice that she needed to hear. But we have to do the work on it. Mangold and the writers didn't do the work on that. Or if they did, it didn't make the edit in the end. And I think that's like that's where it's like a little unfortunate. But I will say for me, like it's a really good fucking adventure movie. And is there a better adventure movie? Like, 'cause that's another thing, is we always have to be real about what is happening right now in the world, what's happening right now in film. Is there anything else that, like, is there another, adventure movie like in this same kind of like tone that's out today or came out before today that you could be like, oh, well, I should have just went and saw that? Not really.
Well, Mission Impossible's got another week or so.
Oh, fuck Mission Impossible and your cult.
No.
It's not out, Rob.
You complain about
Rob.
Yeah,
I literally said
it's another week.
It's not. That's not what I said, though. That's not what I said. That's
if
not
it's
what I
off
said.
by 7 days, it's not.
Rob,
fucking...
You've already decided that Mission Impossible is a good movie, and you know what it's going to be? Tom Cruise doing a stunt, going, "I'm Tom Cruise," and it's going to be boring as fuck. And Simon Pegg's going to be there, and not even the fun.
Let's cut back to Jason last summer. I love Top Gun. I love the movie.
I did love Top Gun.
Thank you.
You know what? Actually, you know what? I'm going to be real about myself, and that I am as guilty of recency bias as anybody else. I had a good time watching Top Gun 2, and I never watched it again. That's how much I loved it.
I
never saw it again. Penny,
I have.
Come here, Penny. Have I watched Top Gun 2 again since we saw it?
Yeah. But you've been playing Fortnite like half the year, Jason. You know what I mean?
I played a lot of games, Rob.
I've seen your Xbox. I can see when you're on.
I played Fortnite. I played Star Wars. I played Tears of the Kingdom. And those are, you know what?
3 really
good games.
And I watched Top Gun 1 in 3D.
Yeah, no, Top Gun.
It's really good. It's really good in 3D.
No, Top Gun 2 was a fine time. But my point is that it, like, in terms of what they did on this movie for this genre, and honestly, I don't think Mission Impossible and this are the same thing. They're
maybe it's an adventure. I don't care.
They're fucking dad action movies. Okay, so that's
Indiana Raiders of the Lost Ark was a dad action movie.
That's the like the
literally
the
it was literally people's dads going, I grew up with this, and then they took their kids and shit. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm. But in terms of that, I think it's good. I don't think that I would even say Indiana Jones has become a genre unto itself. And for me, all of the ripoffs, your National Treasures, your Mummies, your Romancing the Stones, still aren't as good as Dial of Destiny. And that's not necessarily like a big pat on the back to Dial of Destiny, because I don't think those movies are the best movies ever. But Raiders of the Lost Ark is probably the movie, if I would cave and give a 10, it would probably be Raiders of the Lost Ark. I won't, because I think it's a logical fallacy for something to be perfect. I don't think you can do it.
You know what?
But
you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10 for you. There, it's got a 10. I just gave it.
E.T.'s a 10. You're right, Penny.
That's a piece of shit movie. I can't stand it.
He just said E.T. was not a good movie. Can you
like
believe this guy?
I said I didn't like it.
Where did I find
this
guy?
I don't like E.T.
Where did I find him, Penny?
I don't like E.T. I like Poltergeist. I'm a Poltergeist kid.
You like Poltergeist?
I don't like E.T. Same neighborhood. Same neighborhood. Same directors. Same toys. Same family, pretty much. I mean, it's like right down the street, just Poltergeist. That's the movie.
Yeah. I watched the Uncharted movie, and I could not. If you paid me $1,000 to tell you what happened in it, I couldn't do it. It's just
the first Mummy movie and the first National Treasure got close, but they're still not Raiders. No one's got the closest.
No, they're not even Crystal Skull.
Right, but in terms of tone, you're gonna hear me out. It's not the same genre, but in terms of tone and adventure, I think the closest and comparable, I think in terms of quality, probably hit the mark, is the first Incredibles film. I think the first Incredibles film is very much in keeping with the spirit of what Indiana Raiders of the Lost Ark is. Just for families. It doesn't have a melting Nazi face and shit, you know?
Yeah, I need that.
But I think
but that mom's butt in the Incredibles, that's pretty
that's
good.
What Marion she had bro. Old Marion could have had that, you know. Like,
I keep thinking you're gone and then you come back and I talk about like the Incredibles mom.
But these films need to get to the point where you're like, oh, we just got to get back together. They get back together, and then not they get back together and the movie's over. Brad Bird knows how to use those goals. Brad Bird takes the point of a movie and makes that the break for Act 1, and then goes to Act 2 and then to Act 3. These people take that idea and stretch it out across the whole film. You understand what I'm saying? That's a problem. And as pretty as it might be, and I think it works better for maybe dramas. Although I did look on Logan, and I saw that he wrote that movie with Scott Frank, and that's the guy who ran Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
And maybe Mansgold should go back to working with Scott Frank.
Because
he made chess fun.
There's like a couple of things though, like that have occurred to me over the course of this film though, is that like Short Round and Helena are about the same age. And I really do hope that if they capitalize, I think her character was really good. I would seriously watch a movie with her in it. If they did a spin-off film from this and started a new adventure series and they had Short Round and her in it, like I would watch it. I would. Penny, you're fired. Break my guitar, you're fired. Sorry. You know what? I could go to Central Casting and get a new daughter.
You're in love with her, Jason, so it doesn't really count. You're biased.
She's pretty though. She's very, very, very pretty.
I have a problem with her. I have a problem with the character, and that just don't think they needed to create another rogue in this movie. I think they needed something different. But the actress, I'm fine with.
Yeah, no, I think there's like promise there, and I think there's like promise, like when you get down to it, like when we look at the Raiders concept of Raiders of the Lost Ark, if they were to do something like that, where you have a lot of these rapscallions getting together for this thing, for this heist against other historical figure in the 1970 or something like that, I'd be up for it. I would gladly watch it. And if it was bad, then okay, then we just forget about it. Just like other spin-off films, you know what I mean? There's like spin-off movies to like Fast and the Furious. Nobody even knows are Fast and the Furious movies. And it's just like, that's just what happens, I
was watching something, so I want to make sure. When he was on the horse and he looked down into the car, there were some old dudes looking up at him. Was that supposed to be like a mayor or the astronauts or something? Like
it was Buzz, yeah. Wasn't
Buzz
it?
Aldrin, supposed to be the astronaut.
That was what I thought. Actually, there was a moment. I don't remember what part of the movie it was. It might have been when they get to Casablanca. There's a lady walking in the background, and I thought it was Kate Capshaw. And I was like, is that fucking Kate Capshaw? Did she have like a little cameo there? But then like later on, you see like another lady, and I'm like, is that the same lady? But I don't, for the record, don't believe Willie Scott and Kate Capshaw is in the
I'm
movie.
fine with Indy accidentally running into Hitler at a book burning rally because one does.
That's fun.
I'm not a fan of the Indiana Jones Chronicles where he turns into Forrest Gump. And he was just inadvertently running out of every historical thing. I'm not a fan of the Forrest Gump thing. You know,
you just wanted Mutt to be on a shrimp boat. I think you said at the start of the show. Make it.
I want them to do American Graffiti 2, redo 2, and they put Mutt in Vietnam. You know, with Toad. Him, Mutt, and Toad are out there, and he saved Toad, and that's how we know.
Let me ask you and Dave in the chat this. Because I know Dave loves this. No. Dave wills. He loves this. He loves this. I think he's been as excited, if not more excited, than me for this movie. So yeah, we hit each other up on Facebook and have been talking about it like over the last couple months. If they did a movie, right, and Mutt Williams turns out is just in a fucking Viet Cong like camp, and Short Round and fucking and then they end up bringing him home. They recast him because fuck Shia LaBeouf, and they bring him home right at the end, and that becomes like the thing, like just like the other thing.
I've been saving this one. I've been saving it. I've been hoping you do this. I've been saving this joke all night. You're right. I rarely build up joke time, but I'm gonna do it now. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason. Actually, I wrote a scriptment for this. Now that I'm buying Lucasfilm, but yeah, it's called a Full Muddle Jacket.
muddle jacket.
Full muddle jacket.
Right. What? Or maybe.
Yeah. Short first.
Short wombats. The shorty wombats.
Yeah. No, it's full metal jacket. That's what we're gonna do.
No, if they were to, I asked the kids this at dinner tonight, and Luke said it. He was about it, but if they went and they saved Mutt, and then Mutt was to be alive, and they brought the character back, and then we could have like a Mutt, Short Round, and Wombat. Fucking, you know.
They go out and shoot dogs? Is that what they?
No, not Shia LaBeouf. No, Mutt Williams. Not the Mutt shooter, Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. No, we're gonna recast him, George. Would they? No, like would that cheapen this film? Or would it be fine because it's ultimately that what Indy believes, and then Indy's belief in that is reinforced at the end, and Indy comes back to. So I was like, does that hurt this movie if they did that? Because I would be for it, because it's completely possible that, and in terms of the genre, you know, where the guy Indy goes over cliffs and then he just is hanging on and comes back.
I just want to electrocute him. That's what I want to. You know, I want to put the thing in his mouth and shock him.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Because when I think of the concept of Mutt, and I think of the concept of Helena and the concept of Short Round, and even Teddy in there, I'm like, I would watch that movie. That as an Indiana Jones fan, I would be up for the potential in that film. And so, like, ultimately,
Teddy can't do it. He gets caught up in the Iran Contra deal later on.
Teddy,
that's that was in my script.
Well, I mean, we do know that
sell things for money,
based off of a couple of the things that Helena was saying in this movie, she definitely votes for Reagan. She's all about the Star Wars program in a little while.
Yeah,
and
Teddy just wanted to make some money off it. And,
Oh, one more thing that you see, Dave's with me. Dave would watch it. One thing I would say, I am actually visually critical of, and like kind of me scratching my head, was I thought the scuba diving sequence was a very big opportunity, and I thought it played sort of incoherent. It didn't have good kinetic energy. It was pulling on Jacques Cousteau and James Bond kind of vibes, and but then they have this shot. And it's Harrison Ford with the life preserver on, and he looks like a little lost old man who was getting on a cruise and has to try the fucking thing on, like the life preserver, you know. And I was like, why didn't they just do movie magic and have it ripped off with this fucking, you know, old man muscles popping out, you know? And that was a little bit where I was like, it's weird because I both like the sequence. I thought that using ills for snakes and stuff like that was fun. Like in the writing, it was fun, and in the execution, it fell a little short.
It sort of ends though.
It just sort of is.
It doesn't crescendo.
Yeah.
In the action when he's trying to hold on to it and she's getting him, it's not clear with the geography, right? Like it's just like it's muddy, dude. Like it's just like it's
muddy.
Not bad.
Was it muddy? MUTTY?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he started swinging on the eels underwater, right? Like,
yeah. Pistol Pete, I agree with you in the sense that that's why I don't think, or I would say Mutt is probably dead based off of Shia LaBeouf's actions, and that was the smartest answer. But in the big picture, do we want Indy? Do we want Indy's son dead? I don't know.
Yeah, well, picture. I was watching an interview with Mansgold, not the one that I sent you that everyone's watching. There's another one he did with this English guy. He was on for like, it's like 30, I'll send you the link, but it's like 15 minutes, not that long. But he goes, and but Mutt wasn't in it, and he goes, well, yeah, he wasn't. And he goes, well, I think you know why, right? It's Mansgold because I think we all know why, right? Like he was like,
and if you're
a douchebag,
and because it's like the idea, like the concept of Mutt is inherently good. Like a fucking greaser, you know what I mean, kind of thing, and is Indiana Jones' son, and like a teddy boy.
The only thing I liked in that movie was the ice cream bar fight.
Yeah, I like that movie too.
And I actually like the nuke the fridge moment. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, me too. No, the whole Doomtown moment is really cool looking and a lot of fun, and like that's where in this film, like I like where Mangold was going with like let's make it like let's give it New York 1969. And I'm like, yeah, I like that too. And then I like he's like let's give it the space race and like that stuff like that. And it's like, it's weird because Indy doesn't even give a fuck. And like, so it was so like disconnected from it entirely as the movie went on. Like, remember because we saw Indy get the clock. Remember that we saw Indy with his retirement clock going through New York when he goes to give it away. Yeah. And like we had that footage like a long time ago. And like there was like times when we thought like he was like maybe a part of the parade because he was retiring and he was like a famous like archaeologist or academic in New York. And like, yeah. I mean, but that at least like put him there. And so like that was where it was like it's a little bit where I was just like, yeah. Like, so at the end of the day, that's where I feel like even Last Crusade's Doomtown, the fucking fights, like there were certain settings that were in the Lucas and Spielberg movies throughout it that I don't think this was as strong, but I think they did it was a good effort, but it ultimately was
the
not
only fucking thing left for him to get was the monolith on the moon. You know what I mean? Like,
you said that before.
That one off. That's,
Yeah. I think, I mean, I ultimately respect the film for attempting to do what the other ones did with the Nazis and to give us like that familiarity for Patton Oswalt. But at the same, but at the
save Hitler, then I'd understand why Spielberg refused to make it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't have him save Hitler. But if I let Stiff Lip over here, fucking become new Hitler 2.0, it's gonna be worse. So I have to save. And he has to save Hitler.
But
like, what a fucking movie.
But the idea of it being like time travel, but not being Bill and Ted ridiculous, But there was also sometimes
played Hitler, like when he goes to save him.
No.
Like, and he got because we just shade this. Hey, look at he's got come on.
He's Mangold.
What if he did? Because every director likes to play in a movie, right? Like,
you know what? Let's just freaking go full out. Spielberg's playing Hitler in this one.
But what if they got Taika? Taika reprised his Hitler role.
Okay. Jojo Rabbit style. I'm up for it. Yeah.
Well, if I am Hitler, right? Like he runs around the shit like fucking crazy. Wins an Oscar for it again.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like, I think it's a movie worth seeing. It's a movie I will definitely see again. I'll definitely watch it again. I'm gonna see it in the theater again, and I will definitely watch it at home. Like I thought it was still it's a good movie about like, Indiana Jones's like actual last adventure, even though this is the third time they sold it to us, which we should Consider that. That's the third time we
it's
have
like a
been
Kiss
told.
concert.
Yeah, it's his third fucking final show, and
Like Ric
and
Flair.
but it was a good one. You know, it was a good ending. Penny, stop doing that. I don't know what you think you're doing, but stop. Just pouring things into things. Anyways, yeah, I'm happy that we got to see that. I'm somebody who likes Indiana Jones. I've read the comics, I've read the books, I've watched the series several times. I like the general idea and gist of the character and all of that stuff. And at its best and at its worst. And this right here, though, I thought was a good ending. It's way better than the George Hall bookends that were on Indiana Jones Chronicles on TV. People remember that.
I want to bust your nose up.
Yeah, I went and posted a clip of it so people could remember, in case they forgot, exactly how awful that truly was. And
that
yeah,
whole
it wasn't
series
good.
sucked.
No, the whole series doesn't suck, Rob. But once again, it's a series you didn't watch and you saw something of, and then now you say the whole thing sucks.
No, I watched it and I got tired of it and turned it off.
Yeah, no, you watched a couple of episodes and then you said the whole thing sucks.
I spent $40 on those fucking videotapes. It got me like 3 episodes because they had Drew Struzan covers and I couldn't watch it. I tried. All right,
Rob. Yeah, and you probably watched Treasure of the Peacock's Eye?
No, and then I started from the beginning.
That's what you watched.
Not last summer, the summer before, whenever we started this thing, just to say, no, I'll fucking watch it. And I'm like, I can't take it. Even as like a technical demo for
if you didn't see,
I don't like the idea of Indiana Jones as Forrest Gump. I don't like it.
It's like Phantom Train of Doom is written by Carrie Fisher and Frank Darabont, and it's really good. There is really good stuff in there, but once again, I don't recommend the series. I don't think you should watch it, Rob. I don't recommend it to people because it's not from the golden age of television. It's from ABC in like 1990. You know,
TNT.
And no, it was on AMC, and then it moved over to the Family Channel where it finished its run.
We had it on TNT.
Then it was no, you might have saw it on TNT, but it was on Family Channel because they had the exclusive Lucasfilm rights for television at the time. They also used to show Maniac Mansion. Remember that?
Yeah, the one with Dave Levy.
That weird little fly and everything. Yeah.
Had nothing to do. They just got a license.
Yeah, but it was still a part of it. It was still like it was in the Star Wars Fan Club magazine, man, or a Lucasfilm magazine. But yeah, but anyways, yeah, it wasn't good though. But point is, then they took those, edited them together, and then turned them into like movies. And once again, it was an experiment. It didn't work. It wasn't the best thing. So there's a few that work really really well. Most of them don't. But it was interesting. It was Lucas thinking outside the box, doing what he does, and we don't have guys like that anymore. At least not at that level. Anyways, right now,
I think Brad Bird still has one in him. He's been doing nothing lately. Ever since that fucking Tomorrowland, it's not his fault. That movie was supposed to feature a Walt Disney, and Disney cut that shit out of him.
Yeah, I met him at that D23. He's just walking around.
Oh,
yeah, he's just walking around on the floor. Nobody gave a shit. And I was like,
hey, money and was like, fuck this. I mean, he did. The one thing he did that I didn't really care for was Incredibles 2. And it's not a bad movie. It just doesn't have a point. And I'm like, the point to me would have been the Frozone, like having a kid and finally getting a family. Like that would have been the story. If it had been Frozone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like him settling, like him and his wife having their first kid, that would have been the movie to do.
Yeah.
But like a baby, she's in the womb and the baby's got powers and shit. Like, ooh. You know, like, ugh.
So here's what happened to him. He defended Lasseter, and now he's jumped ship and he's working for Lasseter at Skydance Animation.
Oh, damn it! Just defending that guy.
So damn. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, Catherine Zeta-Jones was fucking hot in that shit. And afterwards, Dave, Lucas dated her, and I've tried to find the pictures. And all the pictures of when Lucas used to take her on dates are scrubbed from the internet. You cannot find them anywhere.
I take it back. There is a movie that got close to the tone of maybe not Raiders, but certainly Last Crusade. And that's The Mark of Zorro. I think The Mark of Zorro, that first one
with Antonio Banderas.
Jones, I know he's playing a Spaniard, but you know, if we could buy Sean Connery as a Spaniard, then fucking whatever.
I mean, the Highlanders are Frenchy. I don't care.
But that has the spirit of adventure.
Yeah.
You know, pretty good. That's pretty fucking solid adventure film.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
A lot of
I'm
practical stunts too. A lot of good practical stunts.
The reality of it is though, if Dial Destiny came out and was a total piece of shit, I would be super fucking sad. You saw me with Willow. I would be Willow devastated. I'm not Willow devastated at all. I'm actually
it's
like,
not a piece of shit. I don't think Superman
it's
Returns is a piece of shit. It's just like a downer.
Yeah, it's and like I like that this movie. Truthfully, I like that the movie's a downer. I would have went harder on the downer. I would have actually had Indiana Jones drunk at times in it, like
the
in
downer
the start.
in Superman Returns would make more sense if it was Christopher Reeve. But when it's a little kid, you're like, why is this guy so fucking depressed? You're like 28.
You know what, man? Go drink a Zima and bang it out. You'll feel good.
She doesn't even remember you dropped a super kid, or you can do whatever you want. Like it makes sense when it's Christopher Reeve and she knows it's Christopher Reeve as Superman and all that shit and baggage that comes with it, right? And it's the last thing. But anyways.
So the idea that what they did, which is like Indy's sunsetting, and Helena is that, and he's seeing that, and like it puts him more in his place even, and stuff like that. Like I liked it, and the ending with Marion was I'm conflicted on it in two ways. It's a good ending to the 5-film Harrison Ford Indiana Jones saga, that it ends with Marion and it's cute. But it's not good for the movie by itself. That wasn't a good ending for the film. That was a good ending for 5 films.
Really weird.
It's and it's like in that way, the fact that like it works in the sense that that they say he's back. The problem is, why does Marion believe he's back?
She's not saying is he back, like his sense of adventure. I'm telling you, man, that's an alcoholism thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you back? I think he's been living in the sauce. You know what I mean? Like, he's not sober. And they just did not want to fucking do. They didn't want to commit.
Good job,
to
Dave.
A full.
There's Lucas with Zeta Jones when he was dating when she was fucking hot as fuck, and she married that old guy.
No,
so Lucas,
you delete
Lucas
that. You
definitely.
delete that. No, you get that off that. You get rid of that. You get rid of that.
Sorry, we won't let Starbucks know. Don't anybody tell Starbucks.
No one's seen John Knoll since he dropped that on the internet too. So you keep that up. You keep it up, Jason. You'll go.
John Knoll's developing my digital girlfriend.
You'll go where Rhythm and Hughes went. You know what I'm
saying? Fucking George Lucas, though, man. I mean, honestly, dude, good work, dude. Lucas, you horn dog.
You can see why McQuarrie's trying to emulate his look. If McQuarrie directs a Star Wars movie looking the way he does now, he could just tell people he's George Lucas and they'll believe it.
I think he's just trying to slip away from the Scientologists by taking the identity of George Lucas and sneaking out.
You keep acting like that fucking religion's worse than every fucking. It's probably the least offensive out of all the religions. Hasn't started any wars yet. Started any war. No, I have a deep. Show me the Scientology crusades.
Rob.
Like, show me the Scientology crusades, Jason.
Rob, we treat all space cults the same here.
Huh? You're not. I don't see you picking on Christianity when Santa's on. All right, I do it
because I'm respectful of his feelings and his faith. Rob.
He's Santa. He can't believe in Jesus.
He's a pagan god unto himself. Okay,
he's a hoe. Did you know they're actually called hoes? The race of Santas. They're called hoes.
We're all Santa's little hoes when you put us all together, right?
When you turn into when you're born a hoe, you grow into a Santa. Ho. The third one, you turn into a Santa. Little hoes.
George is coming for the show now. Dave. You just fucked the show. Good work, Dave. But So, anyways, point being, it wasn't a Willow. I wouldn't even say it was a solo a Star Wars story. Was it necessarily like a Force Awakens where everybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, Indy's back"? No, it wasn't that either because it wasn't feel good enough, And so at the end of the day, like I'm curious to see like this movie in a year.
Returns.
I don't know. It's not that bad, dude. That movie, it's not that bad. That movie's really bad. That movie's really like disimpassioned.
That depends on who you talk to. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I think you're going to be right.
I enjoyed it, but I mean that one had
that movie featured Christopher Reeve not in a wheelchair, people would have loved it more. It's just because it has a Superman you don't like. But
Maybe
it's the same film, man.
yeah, I wanted Christopher Reeve in the wheelchair because I think that would have been super. Rob, maybe.
Wouldn't that have been great if they got him flying around in a wheelchair? Oh, that would have been
flying wheelchair.
Yeah. They just went with it, like just
Yeah.
use your imagination.
Yeah. No, but
He can
anyways,
fly, he
yeah,
can fly, he can fly.
I'm not like I'm not gonna pretend like it's not it's not Willow. That's a good thing, and Willow the series, and it's not fucking
Let me tell you this, Jason.
Yeah.
When everyone says they want a real serious Star Wars movie, no fun.
No
Careful
fun.
what you wish for. Careful what you wish for. You do want an adventure. This doesn't go that dark, but
it doesn't go
also doesn't go that fun either.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the middle, and I just feel like you got to go one way or the other. Like people call Temple Doom dark, but then it's got a rubber snake gag. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, and no, and that's where I come in. Like I was saying, like where the premise was so risky and dark, and then the execution lacks it, and that's where I think this one you didn't go fun. This one should have really went for it, like on that front. But at the same time, I think if they did that, you could have went. I think they should have went as far as like I said before I even saw the film. Treasure of Sierra Madre, where they're kind of just down and out, like in fucking Casablanca or whatever, like just fucking bumming it. And I kind of think maybe that's where this one should have started with the premise for Indy and 69 and the New York space race stuff. It didn't really pay off. There wasn't really anything about New York that actually like made this film better. Like Ghostbusters is made better by New York. I didn't feel like that was really here in this setting.
Certainly not a New York movie.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think almost all religions are weird. The space cults, all of it. But
including Scientology.
But Tom Cruise is truly like that. That's the thing about it, though.
But at least he's using his religion to entertain us.
He might be a lizard man.
Okay, then I accept this one.
He might be a lizard man.
He's an entertaining lizard man. I accept it.
If it ever turns out the lizard men are real, Tom Cruise is definitely one, though. We could agree on that, right? Because he doesn't know how humans live. He's like, how do humans act? Yeah, and then he fucked over.
I don't know. I think DeSantis might be trying that one.
He fucked over Barbie and all those movies. And
Jason, that was a rumor. Stop that.
No, it's real. It's real. It's real. Jason, it happened. No, it's not a rumor. It's real.
Stop it.
It's not a rumor.
Over anything.
Yes, he
did.
Movie's
going to do quite well. It's going to open up bigger than Indy, probably.
Yeah, because he fucked all the movies.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
Yes,
How can he fuck Indy over if it's out before him?
What he did was he got all of those movies removed from IMAX. They're all fucked.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No,
he did it. Yes, he did.
All the fucking no, he didn't. Oppenheimer has the same showings now as it did. I just fucking checked yesterday. It's the same it had fucking 3 weeks ago, dude.
No. What's gonna happen is that when after watch, he got more screenings for Mission Impossible in IMAX that he wasn't gonna have. They gave it to him.
Well, great, because no one wants to see a fucking movie about where they build a fucking bomb and then nuke Japan. It's not a summer film.
Rob,
that's a
Rob,
October. That's an October surprise. Really,
I think the October surprise is that Tom Cruise has pictures of your butthole or something. Because you will defend Tom Cruise.
The second time you brought up my butthole. Like,
is it?
Someone's got to. You apparently got. You got to.
No, I mean
you're just a Johnny Cruise lately.
It's
as long as it features some from Harold Faltermeyer music, then you're all about it, right?
A little bit. No, I mean, no.
You know what, Jason? It's because they never made a Mission Impossible NES game for you, huh? That's what it was.
I watched the show when I was a kid sometimes, but no, I mean, like what he did was an asshole move, and then he went and posted with the tickets. Like that somehow means like it's cool. Like it's the most it's so fucking phony It's the fakest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. That's what's stupid.
That's not being hyperbolic.
If it was
it's the fakest thing you've ever seen your entire life.
All right, dude, he does have pictures of Rob's butthole. Because like the whole thing about it is if he just no. Here's the thing, Rob. If you're gonna fuck people over, don't fuck people over and fuck over other films and then pretend
he didn't fuck any film over.
Like you are supporting the movie.
You are out your mind. He did not. He did not.
Yes, he did.
He did not. No, he did not. No. Jason's just trying to figure out a way. He doesn't want Barbie to make money. He can't figure out why anyone would want to watch it because he doesn't want to watch it. So
I want
Tom Cruise's fault. If
I don't like it when they go and they fucking do that thing to hurt other movies. I think that's fucking sucks. Like I said, if he was releasing his movie in March 15th and then Barbie's like, we're gonna release on March 9th, then I'd be like, well, yeah, Barbie, you're fucking stupid and you're setting yourself up, and Oppenheimer, you're fucking dumb too. But he went and he's playing this game that people have classically played on very weird dates, like the Avatar fucking dates in December or the Force Awakens dates in December. And then he's doing that in the middle of the fucking summer. And then he does that shrewd ass move and then has the balls to go. And number one, also, Spielberg is the one who started this whole thing of Cruise Saved Hollywood thing that he's using for that crusade. And he's using it against Steven Spielberg. That's what a cunt he is. That's the level of cuntiness. That's what happened, Rob. It's not my opinion. Okay. It's what happened. And then he went and he posted pictures. I have the pictures. With all of the tickets to the movies that he fucked over that he's not going to go see. He's going to go wipe his ass with those tickets.
That story came from fucking Puck.news, bro. Like, how you trust Puck.news?
Yeah, actually I do.
Oh, really? You're a regular fucking reader at Puck.
Puck is an industry.
All right, sure. Look, man, I've seen motherfuckers make shit up about this dude forever, dude. Like when they were filming Valkyrie, they said fucking that Tom Cruise trashed the fucking place and shit. Like, there's a Variety ran it. Hollywood Reporter, none of that shit fucking happened. Macquarie fucking covered it, dude. So like, you can go and say you read a fucking TMZ like article and you're taking it for truth, but you know, Jason, how many times you come on the show? How many times you come on the show and go, hey? No. People make up stories all the fucking time. You know what I mean? They aren't verified, blah, blah, blah. But then when it's someone that you don't like, then you just run with it like it's fact. No. Like, it's not fact. Puck.com news. Okay.
Rob,
well, then there you go. Puck.news knows what they're talking about.
He went and he posted the pictures with the tickets. Do you think he just did that?
Because because what are you supposed to do? If you fucking go, that story isn't true, then they're just going to bring up the whole thing. So you know what you do?
Okay. Rob, go find me more pictures. Go show me a picture of him with the flash ticket. Where's the flash ticket picture?
He actually said that was a good movie before it came out.
Rob.
He said you should go see it.
It is so transparently a fucking PR fucking move.
Oh, there you go.
It is though. Okay. It's not even like this isn't my opinion. This is like what happened.
All right.
And then you're the one who's saying like Puck News gets shit really does.
Yeah, Matthew Baloney knows his shit. That's the dude.
I'm just telling you, it does.
Baloney rhymes with Filoni.
I mean, it does though. And I mean, it's he's trying to get more screens for his movies to make sure that I mean, Tom Cruise is going against Oppenheimer, is going against Barbie. This isn't even like an opinion. This is across the whole entire industry.
Right.
IMAX is not denying it. You know what I mean? Did he get his way 100%? I don't know, because I don't know. We don't know exactly what the terms of his goals were, right? But it did go that way. That did happen, and he did know that he looks like a shithead, and he did know he was being a shithead, and that was why he posted with the pictures. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what happened.
Oh yeah. No. How dare you take a photo of him going to see a movie? What a shitbag. You know what I mean? That really hurts. That's gonna hurt the whole industry. You know, that's not, like, what a fucking loser, right, Jason? You got me on that one.
So you think he just did that because he's a great fucking? You think Tom Cruise is that cool that he just does it? He's like, I love Barbie.
I think that if you fucking make a press release, you do it visually versus verbally, because if you do it verbally, you're never going to fucking win, dude. It's going to be an endless conversation. So you do it visually, so you have a photo op and people just sort of shut up after that. That's the whole reason for it.
it's because he was being a fucking asshole. Like what he was doing to those movies, he's gonna win. He's gonna beat those movies anyways. And he just needed to beat them a little bit more because there's never fucking enough. And it was like, it was just it was a dick move.
Jason's just like writing storylines for Tom Cruise. It's never enough. And it was like that time he went back to, he got the Amnithikira and he went back. Tom Cruise went back in time and prevented Oppenheimer. You know what? Yeah, he actually, you know what? It really wasn't Oppenheimer. He just wanted that name. So he went back in time and made it Oppenheimer, made the bomb. Originally, it was this guy named Shmonoli. You know, Shmonoli made the bomb, but it didn't really sell well. So Tom Cruise built a time machine, went back in time, and made it Oppenheimer because it sounds better. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I like I said, if he just went and said like, I want my movie to do fucking well, and it did that. But when he posed with the pictures, that's when I was like, with the tickets, I was like, this is so lame. Like it really is.
All right. Well, now I know. I know. Don't. If you buy a movie ticket, do not post a picture.
No, don't post.
Jason will fucking not have it.
How do you not, Rob? If I went and I like fucked over another show and then posted a picture of me watching the show,
if getting people to not go see something worked, if telling people to not go see something worked, no one would have seen Avatar.
No, it's not that.
He didn't get any IMAX screens moved from Oppenheimer or Barbie. He didn't. All they got out of it, all they got was fucking them to get the IMAX screen 2 days early for an early screening on the 10th, which I have tickets for. That's it. On the 10th.
So he did start it then on the 10th. Then on the 10th, that's when.
Because you know why? Because there's going to be no Indiana Jones tickets. That only window opened up when they realized that no one's going to be in those fucking theaters those days. If Indiana Jones fucking was crushing it, that's them slots wouldn't open up. They already can do the numbers, bro. Like.
So yeah, but what you're saying is it's okay to be a cunt because that movie wasn't good enough for Rob.
You keep saying he's a cunt, like you personally sat down and watched him do all this shit.
It's a move.
It's a Puck.News article that says that he did this shit.
Yeah, why do you like you like Snyder and the Puck stuff are fucking always.
Yeah, but I don't run Snyder stories like they fucking actually happen. I go, well, it's a probability that they happen. I don't then go and turn into you're turning into a little bit of a Roca here. Where you go, this motherfucker goes over here, Daisy runs the whole industry. Like this is where you and Roca actually. I am being a Snyder at this point, and you're being a Roca. And this fucking guy thinks he can run the whole industry, tell them what to do? I don't think so. Like all right.
No, well, I mean, no, Tom Cruise is a maniac. Like I could like Top Gun and still know that Tom.
I
could even like Mission Impossible.
I think it takes a maniac to make fucking good films. I think George Lucas is a maniac. You know?
So then now we're going with the auteur theories, okay? Because if it justifies you being a monster,
are we back to this one again? I don't even know how to spell auteur, Jason. That's what you just said. That's what Jason, I don't even know how to spell that word. All right, is James Mangold an auteur?
You're the mommy, just so you know.
I thought an auteur is when they film you outside your home, going to the bathroom and shit. But
I think that's when you just like set up the camera and bang it out.
Yeah, Crispin Glover style. What?
Anyways, anyways, that like I said, Indiana Jones, not a fucking it's not a Willow. I'm not over the moon.
No,
with it. I don't think it's not the best Indiana Jones movie. I would say I don't really think it's like I keep feeling like I don't like it as much as Crystal Skull, but I'm one of the people who does like Crystal Skull. Until a couple of the flaws in it, though, and my flaws, like I've always said, are the waterfalls. I
like it more than Crystal Skull. I give Crystal Skull a 3 out of 10.
See, that's hyperbolic, though.
No.
I mean, Steven Spielberg.
I really dislike that movie.
Steven Spielberg directing shit half asleep is not a 3, Rob. Even if it was half asleep.
Lost World's a 3.
Lost World's a 5, but I would say
caught you on that one. You forget.
No, I would say no. I would say Lost World's a 5, but I would also
a 4.
Oh, now you're fucking high. Hook is a great movie.
It's only because it's got Lucas and Carrie Fisher kissing. Other than that, I ain't in that movie.
The only thing I don't like about
Dustin Hoffman.
I only don't like Hook when it looks like a 1990 fucking like TV like there was this point where Spielberg forgot how, like in the original Spielberg films, everybody looked like they were, even if they were more well off, they still looked like they lived in real homes and like real houses and stuff, like the Poltergeist family, the Close Encounters families, and so on. And
I have
then
a theory about
by
that.
the time you get to like Hook, it looks like the Cosby Show, and I'm like, what the fuck? You've lost touch with.
I have a theory about that look on Hook, and it's
look on the look on Hook.
The look on Hook. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but apparently it did. It's Home Alone. They were going for that Home Alone look.
Yeah, no, that was all about
if you look,
Home Alone, Hook, the bookends to with George Hall from Indiana Jones Chronicles, all have that very 1990s TGIF like fucking
Hallmark.
It's fucking ugly, and it's not what we actually look like though either. You can't look at that stuff and go like, that's what people look like in the year 1990.
Hallmark movies sort of look like that. If you added film grain to it, you'd probably get the exact same look.
Yeah.
They're just shot on video now.
Yeah. Hook was one of the worst DVD to Blu-ray updates ever.
The best part about Hook is the Drew Struzan poster. That's it.
So that's a good poster.
It's probably one of his best, dude. Like
it's really good. Yeah.
It's super good. It's just for a shitty fucking movie.
Man. No, it's not.
I don't know what happened, man. That's Schindler's List. Huh?
Rufio? Come on.
But Rufio wasn't in the books. They just made it woke. Should be called Wokio. Right? Like Wokio. Wokio.
You know what?
Yeah, right?
You know what?
See?
You've convinced me. See? Fuck that woke bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm fucking out.
Yeah, I'm fucking out. I can't wait for Lucas to buy Hook back.
Yeah, buy that shit. Lucas should buy Hook. You know what?
He's in it.
Buy Hook.
He can buy it.
You can do it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go see it again sometime this week, and I'll probably give like more of a is this something I could watch again? Because that's kind of how I feel about the film is I think when I watch it again, it's either gonna be like this was a pleasant watch or I've already seen this movie, and like with Indiana Jones and classic Lucasfilm movies, I don't see it twice. I already seen this movie and feel done. I feel like, oh, there's other things I look at, other things to consider, and I love it so much that I'm like just enjoying it. Will I have that on this one? I don't know.
So that's why for me it's a no, and it's because the CGI. Had the CGI worked, I would go see it again.
Okay, well,
I'd want to see young Ford.
Okay, but I mean, yeah, but just imagine you starting the movie in 1969. Because that's where I don't think you need the first part to the movie, honestly. It's kind of the irony of it. I don't think you actually
not really.
Yeah, because that to me that's.
I thought the horse thing was done better in True Lies, to be honest with you.
True Lies, the horse thing in True Lies.
Better horse race. Yeah, he rode a horse up on the top of the building, had to jump it, and the horse wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
lost the guy.
To be fair, Indiana Jones has always been doing the horse thing, though. Tyrant says, really, it wasn't an atomic bomb at all. It was just Jason talking about Robin Butthole on stream.
Yeah. Oh, I know. If you say it 3 times, it magically will appear. Like Candyman. Like Candyman. If you it'll appear before you. Yeah. My wife learned that mistake once.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, careful what you wish for.
Was it a Simon Pigging incident?
Huh? Because he's never heard that joke.
I know, right? Yeah.
So Simon Pegg drinks a giant fucking stout,
But he's in Mission Impossible, so
can't wait, Benji.
You'll get pegged this month. Rob will get pegged. Don't worry.
I know.
He'll be back.
I'm a defender of Scientology, and Jason wants to see my butthole. So that's what we've learned from today.
And strangely, I'm the normal one here. Strangely, I'm the most normal part about the show.
Well, okay, Magic Muffin.
Hey, Xenu's watching you.
You seem to know all these fucking names. I don't even know.
I'm starting to think Rob thinks that he could get in the Scientology and work his way up and have the most Thetans.
Look, I saw The Master, and the only thing I took away from was Amy Adams can jerk a dude off in the fucking mirror pretty well. Like that's what I learned from that movie.
She can. She definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that guy played the villain in Mission Impossible 3.
It's all
bring it all back.
It's all a conspiracy.
I brought it all back.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna go because it's almost 10 o'clock, and my kids are gonna revolt if we don't get back to Zelda. We got some Zelda going on tonight. So yeah. So we'll be back. What Monday? We'll be back. Today's Saturday.
Will we? Well, no, Monday's. Isn't that 4th of July?
Is Monday 4th of July? Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. I was like,
no, Tuesday, man.
Yeah, Monday is 4th of July.
There's not gonna be any news on Monday, dude. If something big happens,
Monday's the 3rd. 4th of July's on Tuesday, so
okay.
Yeah, if you're busy doing 4th of July stuff, no worries. But I'll probably, because Bestman did a bunch of articles that aren't like pressing, but I want to get to them just to go over them for the show, and so I'll be here on the 3rd, and then on the 4th, we probably won't do a show, obviously. So all right, and then make sure you like the show. Thank you for being a channel member. Let us know in the comments if you're Team Xenu or your Team Z don't. I'm Z don't. He's Z do. And
I love the Mission Impossible movies. You can fuck off, like I love them. Love them.
Hey,
I love them.
Hey, by the way,
even that David Cobb. Isn't it weird though in the first movie that John Voight is married to a woman that looks like Angelina Jolie? Isn't that a little odd though?
Yeah,
it's a little odd, right?
I'm gonna say this Archimedes line to a girl though tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. You were always going to come here. There we go. That's our first perversion of the film. Do we get to see the pictures of Rob's butthole? If Tom Cruise releases them. they're actually hidden in the instruction booklet to the Top Gun video game on the same page that teaches you how to land. Yeah. Archimedes put them there. It's always been
They've always been there. It's a closed closed butthole loop.
It's
a closed balloon knot.
It's actually like the world's first QR code. When you put the QR code on your phone, like how was this in the booklet in 1988? But anyways.
But he kept the watch.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I wanted the watch to be the dad's watch, because remember there's that part where they steal the watch,
right?
I bet you that's how it started. Do you think that's how it started, and then it became Baller's watch because they like died?
I don't know, man. They do a lot of weird shit in the movie I haven't brought up.
Yeah,
like when she brings up how like you still wearing your wedding ring when you could have shown that. Like again, that's something the Abyss did better when Bud was still had their wedding ring on.
Yeah,
goes in the toilet and gets it out. Like there's ideas and like bits and bobs on a wall, but none of them is like really a through line or a follow. The watch
clock sound effects reminded me of the opening of Back to the Future. I know that's pretty obvious, but it did, but it did help me. It did help me put me in like the Amblin kind of like feeling a little bit of the time, even though Indy's not an Amblin film. You know what I mean? It's that same like kind of. Well, no, Amblin was around by Back to the Future.
Not by 80, 81.
Back to the Future is 85.
80. Yeah, but Indiana Jones is 80.
Oh yeah. I'm saying.
I'm saying Indiana Jones predates.
Yeah, but this movie puts us back into that nostalgic 80s. Correct. Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, George Lucas kind of thing. Yeah.
Sort of.
Bob Gale. I'm kidding. Love Bob Gale. Don't get me wrong, but different league. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Rob, thanks for letting me talk about your butthole a lot tonight. I appreciate it, man.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. And I am going to definitely spend our days off doing an orchestral John Williams version of Rob's Wrong.
I'm going to listen to the Medal of Honor soundtrack so I can listen to some real Indiana Jones music.
You are such a nerd.
I bought that shit off the DreamWorks website in 1999. I still got the CD.
Yeah.
So, I am a nerd.
No one's getting through on that one. I mean, you're very set in your Medal of Honor love. I'm not going to take it from you.
That's that first game.
Just the first game? All right.
Yeah.
But
it's a high adventure, that first game.
1999, I was pretty high. So that sounds right.
Nah, I've never been high.
Yeah. You sure?
Sorry.
You sure? Never
100%.
Never smoked a Thetan in your life?
Nope.
How about this? I think I got the answer to get me in your cult. Thetans with Keatons.
We already did Thetans with Keatons.
We did Thetans with Keatons?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
I thought I just made that up.
No, we did that. I made that gag like a month ago.
Yeah.
Well, and then it turned into Eaton.
I didn't hear you. Well, no, Eaton for Keaton was
but it was started as Thetans.
It started with Thetans for Keatons? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That sadly I remember how that joke went down. I was so impressed with the Eatons for Keatons, that day.
Yeah, I remember Eaton.
My wife's like, I heard about it. I'm like, this is great. So much so that the day I went to go see it, I was like, got the pizza. I'm like, we're eating for Keatons. I really need to make that shirt. So whatever. All right. Okay. We've talked enough.
One quick last thing. Patrick says, question. Fowler gets killed in the first scene. No, he doesn't. Then he's alive in the future. Yes, because he doesn't get killed in the first scene. Never explained what the actual fuck. You're taking the cartoon violence of Indiana Jones as yes, that would have killed him in real life, but it does not kill him in the film.
Yeah, he should have had a half mangled face like Phantom of the Opera or something from that.
I would
whack,
have been okay with him having an eye patch or something like that after that.
right? Like he lost his eye, so he wouldn't forget Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I mean, there's like stuff in the Indiana Jones movies that is literally not okay. That he would not have survived, or that people wouldn't survive. And so we just have to assume that.
See, that's
Waller
the problem,
really
though, Jason. When you try to step out of the Republic serial and go to a drama, but it's still playing with the rules of Republic serial, it doesn't know what rules it wants to play by. Is it going to go with Logan, or is it going to go with the comic? You know, the Wolverine, right? Like it doesn't
100%.
know which one it's trying to do, man. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, if you wanted to go full Logan drama, right? I know Logan had superpowers, that's all I'm talking about, right? But it's more humanistic. Then had all of his adventures also been catalogs in books, you could almost say that the other movies might have been him reading those books, and that's not actually what his life was in a way. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but you know what I mean? You could say those stories were embellished, you know, like looking back, and the reality is blah, 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 blah. Because there is a problem with all the Indiana Jones movies after Raiders. I guess technically Temple Doom gets around this because it's a prequel, but most people don't even know it's a prequel. Just in that, once he sees, I mean, he didn't see it, but once all the Nazis get melted by the Ark of the Covenant, that dude has to be a believer in the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, science is out the door.
It's not
he
what
knows
you believe.
Shit exists.
It's how hard you believe it, brother.
Yeah, I know. We saw that in Rocky, right? It's not how hard you get hit. It's
okay,
how hard you can get hit, right?
I actually imagined you saying that, and I thought about it. And so I already have an answer for you that might help you, might not. My answer is, if you've seen the Ark of the Covenant, so you know the Jewish God Israel, you've seen the Cup of Christ, so you know that Christ is real.
I knew it.
You're Jewish now. No, you've seen you've seen aliens, you've seen Shanghara stones. At that point, how do you're more lost than you were when it was just one thing. So
yeah,
I
but
think
he's spouting science to Toby Jones after all that shit happened. That's the problem I have.
And maybe I think that might be the only thing that he has that's the universal language, like the Archimedes math. Maybe at the end of the day, that's the only sense in all of it to him. That I could see it. Now, does the movie sell that?
It's like Back to the Future 2, where you're like, Marty cares about playing chicken. No one calls me chicken. You don't care about chicken. You know, it's not a thing.
Dude, you're coming dangerously close to calling him chicken and getting your ass kicked by Michael J. Fox.
yeah.
I mean,
you have to kick it right out my butthole.
It's gonna do it. You know what we call that around here? Risky business.
Hey, Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Well, Rob, go have yourself a cocktail, okay? And,
Risky Fiends.
You see, cocktail? That's a cocktail. That's his other movie.
I can't wait for Mission Impossible, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I hope you have a good time with it. I hope it hits all the.
I know you're not gonna watch
it. No, I haven't watched it. I watched like the first one. I didn't like it, and
it's not even the same thing.
But Rob does that with TV shows, and it's fine. So that's what I do. Come on, that is kind of funny.
I guarantee you, the first episode of Young Indiana Jones Chronicles is no better or worse than the last one. I'll put money on it.
No, I'm not.
They do not change substantially over fucking time. They're the same fucking thing.
No,
and he took that fucking tone and dragged it right into the prequels.
No, so, when Indiana Jones becomes a spy in World War I, the show gets exponentially better. And
then it got canceled.
I guess. I mean, but that's not it. It didn't get canceled because of that though. It got canceled because of George Lucas's deal. And like it wasn't worth the investment and what they got out of it at the end of the day. So he wouldn't finish it on his own. But shut up. Fucking loser.
Well, then there you go. You know?
Not you, the motorcycle guy.
My bad.
Yeah, no. I mean, it like I said, man. But like I said, I'm not recommending it. And does it hold up? Fucking swell? No, it doesn't. You know what I mean? All right. Well, let us know what you guys thought of the movie, and we're actually gonna go this time. We're actually gonna go. It's 10:00, so Rob is ahead of me in time, so he needs to go get his sleep.
No, I'm working.
Working?
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting 5 hours of sleep for the next week.
That's bullshit. Well, I'm glad you got to see Indiana Jones at least.
Yeah, I know. Some people are like, "Oh, you don't like?" I'm like, "Yeah, that took time out of my." It's not an unsubstantial amount of time, too. Like, it's a good 4-hour block from start to finish. You know, like.
Well, yeah, you drive in there, and then the movie's like 3 hours long when all's said and done with the trailers and.
Gotta take an hour dump when you get home just to process the whole trip.
Touch your butthole again. Not my fault. That was you.
Oh yeah,
that was you.
My bad.
That was you. That was all you.
My bad. That one was me.
That's the problem is you tease it, and then you get it. All right, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.